It all comes down to this. Game 7 of the American League Championship Series about to take place in Toronto with a trip to the World Series on the line. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto ahead of this matchup between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host, Nick Blackmore, our producer, Christian Chinini, Tom Young, and Stephen Coyle are our technical directors. Looking for the first out of Game 7. Bieber with a 3-2 pitch. Foul tip, strike 3. Went up on the hands with a fastball, kind of off the playbook, and maybe that surprised Raleigh. 1 out.
Yeah, that's a big out. You could tell that they were challenging him with that fastball, but it was perfectly located up and in right at the hands. Impossible to hit. Perfectly located, a pitcher's pitch, and a big first out here in this inning.
Naylor overall in the postseason hitting .341, 15 for 44. 2 doubles and 3 home runs. 3-1 pitch. He hits it on the ground right side. Dive, and it's under Guerrero at first, a base hit. Rodriguez gets the wave. Here's the throw from right by Barger. It's offline, and Josh Naylor has started the scoring with an RBI single in the top of the first. 1-0 Mariners in Game 7. Is 3-2. On the ground up the middle. Clement gloves, goes to second, and the throw bounces off the runner Naylor, who might have thrown himself in the way. Ernie Clement looks confused out to Ben May, and John Schneider wants an explanation. If you're in the base path and you happen to get hit, that's one thing. I'll have to take a second look before I say anything definitive here, but Clement seemed to feel that Naylor unnecessarily got in the way, at least from his reaction. We know there's at least 2 outs in the inning and a runner on first. The umps are going to conference. And they are going to call him out. So that'll be a double play as Josh Naylor threw himself in front of the throw. That ends the inning, but the Mariners do get one. Julio Rodriguez with a leadoff double. Naylor singles in a run to make it 1-0 Mariners. Middle of the first, Game 7 of the ALCS. Kick in the 0-1 pitch. On the ground, up the middle, base hit right center. Springer gets the wave around third. He'll score easily. Into third, Vladdy, and Varsho ties it in the first. RBI single, it's 1-1 in Game 7.
What a fantastic piece of hitting. It was another slider from George Kirby. Dalton Varsho recognized it, kept the hands back, did everything he could to barrel it up and snuck it past the dive of second baseman Leo Rivas. We have ourselves a ball game yet again, 1-1 here in Toronto.
He's set, and the 2-strike pitch. He got him! Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a breaking ball down and in. Shane Bieber with a huge punch out, 2 down, and the corners can back up. Second and third, 2 down, Bieber's pitch. And it's chopped back to the hill. Backhanded by Bieber. Time to go to first, and he delivers over there to get out of the jam. Credit to Shane Bieber. Gives up 2 hits to start the inning. Works out of trouble. Keeps it tied 1-1. Middle of the second. Clement still chatting with Marquez. Here's another 2-2. And it's lifted to left center and deep. Going back, Lucas, so is Varsho. That ball is gone. Julio Rodriguez with a go-ahead solo home run, and it's 2-1 for the Mariners in the top of the third. Righty shakes his sign, wipes sweat off his face with his right arm, now sets. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. Arozarena chases in the dirt, and that'll do it for the top of the third. J.P. Crawford on deck. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good slider down and away. Got a chase from Suarez. A little over-eager was the right-handed hitter. 1 out.
That's the spin that you want on that slider. He's thrown a lot of spinners to the top of the strike zone. Eugenio Suarez swung and missed on one that he probably should have hammered. But that strike 3 slider right there, perfectly located, down and away. Not much Suarez could do with that pitch.
Runner on second, 1 out. Bieber's 1-2 pitch to Leo Rivas. He got him right back to the off speed. Had him out in front on a slider. 2 down. His 0-1. And it's hit high in the air, deep right field. Barger going back, turns at the fence. Raleigh has put one into the right field bullpen. Home run, Cal Raleigh, and the Mariners are in front 3-1 in the top of the 5th.
You can't let him beat you. If you're going to throw a changeup, especially doubling up with a changeup like that, you have to get it down. You have to tell yourself that if you're the pitcher out there on that mound. And Louis Varland just left a fat one right over the middle, and Cal Raleigh hammered that thing into the bullpen in right field.
Ground ball will do a lot for the cause of Kevin Gausman because Cal Raleigh is on deck. 0-1. Swinging a bouncing ball to short. Jimenez gloves, throws to second one. IKF to first, double play. Just what the doctor ordered, 6-4-3. And the bases wiped clean, 2 down.
That split finger got in on the hands of Julio Rodriguez. Perfectly located. What a turn from Andres Jimenez, and a perfect throw from IKF to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first base. You have to look for your pitch over the heart of the plate if you're Addison Barger.
The 3-1. Inside, ball 4. Barger goes down to first, and the tying run comes up to the plate. 0-2 count, no outs. Barger on first, and the pitch. On the ground, up the middle, base hit center field. Barger makes the turn. He'll go back to second, and sticking with IKF pays off. Again, what do we know? It's first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the 7th.
That's a great approach from IKF. 2 strikes on him. He's just trying to get the bat to the baseball, and it was a hanging slider, a sweeper. Brian Wu missed his spot by quite a bit. They were trying to throw it off the plate outside, missed on the inner third, and IKF ends up at first base with nobody out, runners at first and second, and here we go. This is a ball game.
Corners crashing. The pitch, the square from Jimenez. He bunts it back toward the hill. Wu fields. He will take the sure out at first base. Rivas covering the bag. Good sacrifice, Andres Jimenez. He throws his arms in the air to try and fire up the fans. Now a base hit to the outfield could tie it with second and third, 1 out, and George Springer coming up to the plate. First real scoring chance for the Blue Jays since the first inning. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a fly ball. Left field and deep. Arozarena turns. Gone! A Springer dinger. 4-3 Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th. One knee, no problem. You have to have that guy in a big game, and he crushed a pitch out to left center.
You have got to be kidding me, Ben. That is the best moment in sports I have ever seen.
And listen to this place go.
How do you pitch to that guy? I said before that at bat, there's an open base. You have to be careful. Edward Bizzardo threw him a heater right down the middle. George Springer was waiting for it. What a moment.
And they were going in all game, so he did a little bucket step. Kind of flew that left shoulder to try and get out in front of it. My goodness. He's 3-2 again. He got him! Curveball freezes Suarez, who's incensed at Quinn Walcott, screaming in his face. There are 2 down, 4 outs to go.
Well, Eugenio Suarez was given a gift early on in the count, and that was a strike. Was it a perfectly located pitch? No, but it did clip the inside part of the strike zone. Suarez will probably look at the iPad and think it was a ball, but it was a pitcher's pitch right on the inside part.
Either way, the Blue Jays have 2 outs. Space is empty. 4-3 lead. The 1-0. On the ground is short. Jimenez backpedals. Gloves on the edge of the turf. Throw across to Guerrero. That's a clean 8th. Scream from Chris Bassett. He steps over the chalk, and the Blue Jays go back to the bats. Up 4-3. Game 7 of the ALCS. Full count against the 8-hitter Rivas. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. 95 at the top. 1 down. 2 more to go.
What a big pitch from Jeff Hoffman. A little bit elevated, a little bit out of the strike zone, but it looked like a hittable pitch, and Leo Rivas swung right underneath it for a gigantic first out in this inning. I say you challenge him again. You don't want to go 3-2.
Hoffman brings his hands together. He kicks the 2-2. Swing and a strike three. Up with the fastball. 2 down. Top of the ninth. And with the World Series on the line, here comes Julio Rodriguez. Full count, 2 outs. Top of the ninth. Game 7 of the ALCS. Hoffman's payoff pitch. He got it! The Blue Jays win the pennant! The Blue Jays win the pennant! They're going to the World Series! It's so good, we must be dreaming! The Toronto Blue Jays come back, knock off the Mariners, and they will take on the LA Dodgers.
And we weren't sure if Jeff Hoffman would be able to come in this ballgame and be effective after throwing 2 innings yesterday. That might have been the best outing of his season. What a moment for him. What a moment for George Springer. What a moment for this city. That was incredible.
No team in the history of the ALCS has lost the first 2 at home and come back to win a 7-game series. Until now, the Blue Jays look down and out so many times in this series, and George Springer hit a 3-run homer. Jeff Hoffman pitched the game of his life. Bassett, Gosman, Dominguez, Barland, Bieber all worked together to get them to a 4-3 win.
How good was Chris Bassett in his outing? My goodness. We had no idea how he would look. I thought it was a good move. I was a little bit unsure, but man, he really pitched well in the 8th inning. Jeff Hoffman came in and nailed it down. Shane Bieber was shaky in this ball game, but he kept the Blue Jays offense close enough, and that's all you need to do. They've been fantastic all season. They were fantastic today. And hopefully they're fantastic in the 2025 World Series.
You've waited 32 years to hear these words. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to the World Series. With me is Chairman Edward Rogers, President and CEO Mark Shapiro, Manager John Schneider. Edward, what a team this is. You came home down 3-2. Game 7, you're down 2 runs with 8 outs left in your season, and you're going to the World Series, winners of the American League pennant. It's my pleasure to present to you the William Harrods Trophy as American League champions.
Thinking about upgrading your equipment? Finning has a deal that's built to reward you whether you're a new or returning customer. From now until November 2nd, take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months on select CAT compact equipment. With payments starting as low as $1,458 a month, it's never been easier to own the gear you need. But hurry, these offers end November 2nd. To learn more and to book your demo today, visit your local Finning dealership or call 1-800-FINNING.
Let's talk about your grocery list. Flour, eggs, bread and sandwich meat, and maybe a little treat to pack in the kids' lunchboxes? You're busy. Your grocery list keeps getting longer, and you'd like to save a little at the checkout. That makes sense. Co-op Sensibles has you covered. Try Co-op Sensibles products for great prices on everyday essentials. They help you keep your grocery costs down so you can enjoy more of what you want. Sensibles. Savings that make sense. Only at Co-op food stores.
All right, I haven't done anything like this, Kevin Barker. I'm not certain you have either. I was thinking about this, watching the on-field ceremony, and I was thinking so much, the players, management talking about how important this was for the city of Toronto and indeed for the country of Canada. I think this is something for all of us, right? I was thinking about this. If you remember 2015, Game 6 of the ALCS, and you remember Jeff Nelson squeezing Ben Revere with runners on second and third and one out in that ALCS game, you remember the Kansas City Royals went on to win that. If you were there in 2016 when a guy named Ryan Merritt, who only ended up pitching 9 total games in his career, shoved for 4 1/3 innings in 2016, led the Indians to victory over the Jays in the ALCS, this one's for you. If you were there in 2022, remember that? 10-9, that game 2 of the AL wildcard against these very same Seattle Mariners when the Mariners came back from an 8-1 deficit and George Springer and Bo had the collision. I mean, if you were there, this game, this win, this trip to the 2025 World Series is for you. And even if you remember 2021 when the Jays missed the wild card by 1 game and that camera shot of Vladdy Jr. sitting in the Blue Jays dugout watching on the scoreboard as the Red Sox beat the Washington Nationals to steal the wild card spot from the Blue Jays. If you remember that, if you remember all of those things, and even if you remember 1992 and 1993, Kevin Barker, this one is for you. This one is for all of us. What a tremendous, tremendous evening.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, we were sitting in the press box, Jeff, and this lineup for the Blue Jays, they were dead. Like the Seattle Mariners had made an adjustment, right? Hard in, soft away, hard in, soft away. You got the big fellas, right? Vladdy, George, and Kirky, hard in, soft away. You knew coming up after Barger had walked the lead off the inning, IKF got that single up the middle that George, had to make an adjustment, clear the hips, get the head out, beat Pizzardo to the spot. He knew what he was going to get. He was going to get a sinker in and a slider away. He beats the guy to the spot. This place, Jeff, I looked at you. We looked at everybody. We didn't know what to do. We were sort of, in up in arms just trying to figure it out. And, just leave it to the MVP, leave it to the 36-year-old to come up with that giant hit, make an in-game adjustment, beat Pizzardo to the spot. Man alive, this is something special, Jeff. This is sort of the 2025 Jeff. The Jays, no quit all game. It just, again, I say that lineup was dead to rights. That one guy, that one inning, that one walk, that one single up the middle, and here we are.
We talked about how in these games, invariably it comes down to moments. Who has the biggest moment? Sometimes who has the last moment? George Springer. George Springer, who really, let's be honest, at the end of spring training, people were talking about, is this a sunk cost? What did the Jays do with this contract? What are we going to make of George? John Schneider kept his faith with George Springer. George Springer comes through tonight in a big, big, big way. The Toronto Blue Jays have beaten the Seattle Mariners 4-3. They will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series starting on Friday at the Rogers Center.
Wow.
At the Rogers Center, Game 1 of the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Toronto Blue Jays have become the first team to come back from an 0-2 deficit in the best-of-7 ALCS. An 0-2 deficit that resulted from losses at home They've come back. They beat the Seattle Mariners. They slayed another dragon. They beat the Yankees. They slayed the Seattle Mariners tonight. Now it's on to the World Series. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Kevin, very much the MVP of this series. And, you know, such a contrast from the last time we saw a playoff game against the Seattle Mariners. Here, we were sitting up here. The Mariners were on the field celebrating.
Smoking cigars.
They were smoking cigars, and I imagine there will be some cigars and possibly some other things smoked as well later on tonight by the Blue Jays. This is the scene right now. The Jays have received their trophy. They've taken their picture on the field. All of their families are out on the field. The Jays are going to go into their party room, and they are going to celebrate. They're going to party like it's 1993 because that was the last time the Blue Jays went to the World Series. It is Blue Jays talk. We're here as long as you want us to be here. The number's 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. If you want to text us, 590-590 is the text line. There's any way we can go here. Any way we can go. We can talk about the World Series if we want. I'm interested, though, in what you feel tonight as a Toronto sports fan, not just a Blue Jays fan, but as a Toronto sports fan. You think of the sports history in this city lately, and other than that Raptors NBA championship, there has not necessarily been a whole hell of a lot to hang your hat on. This isn't a title by any stretch of the imagination, and God knows, the Dodgers are going to be tough to beat.
Sure.
Some will say the Jays will be massive underdogs in that series. But, you know, here's the thing. If you're a Toronto sports fan, this is you can sit back now and enjoy the World Series. Nobody expects you to win. There's no pressure. You're facing the Dodgers. You're facing Shohei. This is like
as good as it gets.
This is going to be as good as it gets. There'll be a time when going to the World Series is going to be nerve-wracking, but I think right now just enjoy the games. And who knows? We didn't think this team was going to be here. Hell, we didn't think they were going to be in the postseason this year, let alone a come-from-behind win over the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, it's the village, right? It's the 26 against 1. It's the 13 against 1. It's, do whatever you have to do to pass the baton. It's exactly the way the 7th inning played out, right? The leadoff walk, the base hit from IKF, right? It's the Davis Schneider. It's not putting him in the lineup, putting IKF at second. It's the little moves. It's the old guys. Jeff coming out and Gausman and pass it. It's Hoffman coming back in the 9th inning and looking like, Hoffman of last night after the 35 pitches.
It's you know what it is? It's Cal Rowley standing in the on-deck circle when the game ends. And, folks, he stood there. I'm not lying. He stood there for a good 2 minutes, just leaned on his bat, watched the Blue Jays celebrate, standing in the on-deck circle, did not move, just leaning on his bat, watching the Blue Jays come out to celebrate. And I've got to mention there were a couple of great, as usual, Sportsnet's camera people were all over it. There was a great shot of Matt Brash, Kingston, Ontario's Matt Brash, sitting in the Mariners dugout with a couple of other pitchers watching the Blue Jays celebrate as well. And that's, that is quite something. That's just absolutely remarkable. I'm almost speechless. Almost.
Well, I hope not. I mean, we got about 2 more hours of this.
Yeah, we got about 2 more hours to go. 416-870-0590, star 590. 1-888-666-0590. The text line is open. It's always open. It's 590-590. We are going to get you to the celebrations, and I feel like I will do this right now because we've seen a few of these Blue Jays celebrations. Please keep in mind that if there are young ears listening to this, there may be some foul language. It won't be from Barker and myself, but John Schneider manages this team, folks, so be prepared for that. Shlomo in Toronto. Get us going, my friend. What's up?
My guys, incredible. Had to call in, had to celebrate with you boys. You guys have been a big part of my fandom as coming into this. I've been in love with this team since I was a young kid. This is the greatest moment in my sports life by leaps and bounds because it's the most unexpected moment. It's the most beautiful and poetic moment. We think about everything here, from following Vlad as a 16-year-old. I think this morning JD had a great talk about this on his show. The fact that Vlad showed up today in that Matthews jersey that confidence in him, his belief in himself, his belief in his teammates, his credit to God, the beauty in the whole thing is just poetic. All these story arcs. We got Ross and Mark, who went from the most hated executives in Toronto sports to now they're going to be legends. We got Schneider with that little moment 3 games ago, which made him super hated. And if they didn't come to this moment here, oh my God, he's getting run out of town. Now he's a 23-year guy. He's going to be loved with the Blue Jays as a lifer. We think about Hoffman coming up clutch with these last two games in a row. Everybody was so nervous, though, and second-guessing those moves. I'm trying to think of what else. The fact that George Springer made history with that 7th-inning home run. I was just reading. It was the most runs. Only Springer and Alonso were trailing by multiple runs in a winner-take-all game. Like, that's crazy. All these things lining up, and to face the Dodgers now, the poetic justice, how we've been, like, tortured by the Shohei stuff, the Sasaki stuff, and it could come down to Miles Straw and Sasaki. I'm telling you, I have so many friends in the States right now messaging me, cheering for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
We are the underdogs. This is poetic. This is beautiful. This is, like, scripted, like, out of a movie. It's unreal. I wasn't here for 92, 93, but this is incredible. Like, this is unreal. So unexpected and just poetic.
Yeah, Shlomo, listen, I appreciate the call. You're a good caller and you're a good fan. Thanks, my friend, for calling up. And, I mean, Shlomo made a lot of great points. I mean, I guess we can apologize to Austin Matthews. A lot of people, Vladdy showed up. Vladdy showed up in an Austin Matthews jersey, and there was a, I smelt a little bad karma in the air. I admit it. Maybe I overstated it a bit in the radio.
You did?
On TV a little earlier today. Doesn't matter now. I mean, who knows? Jays are going to the World Series. Austin Matthews, Leafs winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Hey.
I mean, it could happen.
Could it?
Well, I mean, you know what they got to do? I'll tell you what they have to do. Get Vladdy out to a game.
Wow.
At some point.
I think he's been to a game already.
Yeah, he's been to he's been to a couple of games. Yeah. But Shlomo really does make a point. You know, you look at the different benchmarks in Blue Jays history. 1992, 1993, back-to-back World Series. You know, the teams of the 80s that could never really get over the hump. You think of Alomar and Carter and Henke, just all, and Wardo, all those guys who were parts of those World Series teams. And then there's kind of a dry spell for the Blue Jays. You know, they had some great players, Roy Halladay, Vernon Wells. Right? They had guys who were legit superstars. Really couldn't get over the hump. And then something happened in 2015, man. And I think it started when Jose Bautista arrived in this team. All of a sudden, being a Blue Jays fan became sexy. Paul Beeston got the idea when he was president of getting rid of those god-awful black jerseys and bringing back the Blue Jay blues with the maple leaf. Those jerseys sucked. I'm sorry. And that kind of recreated the brand. If you think about Jose Bautista being voted into the All-Star game with a nationwide effort. I mean, I remember when people were, I think Sportsnet sent out a bunch of signs across the country, vote Bautista, and people would take shots of the signs. They were in Vancouver and Winnipeg and Calgary and all that. And that kind of rebirthed the Blue Jays brand. And then, man, for the last decade, you know, it's been frustration after frustration after frustration, and not tonight. Tonight, those 10 years seem to me like 10 minutes.
Wow, yeah, I mean, it's just a whirlwind, right, where they came from Game 5 to now. You know, John Schneider moving George Springer in a leadoff spot. What if he didn't do that, Jeff? I mean, just coming up in the 7th inning, it was basically 2025 Blue Jays, right? It was perfect. It was right guy, right spot. It was the MVP of the team the entire season. Him coming up and making that in-game adjustment and beating Bizzardo to the spot. I mean, it's poetic. I can't believe I saw it, and I can't believe I lived through it, but it was pretty cool.
Cam in Acton, Ontario, you're on Blue Jays Talk. How you doing, Cam?
Oh, I'm doing amazing, guys. I just wanted to call in because, you talked about the younger crowd. I'm 32 years old. I was born in 1993. When I was born, my grandpa bought me a World Series hat. Mom didn't let me wear it around school. didn't want me to lose it or get it dirty. I'm staring at it right now. My son was born this year, and I'm pumped to get him one this year. It feels good.
Yeah, it really does, man. Congratulations, on the birth of your child, and yeah, it's going to be a memorable one. I mean, I'm going to go out. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to. I think there'll be a lot of people waiting to buy a bottle of wine from 2025 at some point and put it away and save it. But yeah, listen, it's so important for each generation of fans to have that team that they can latch onto, and this. You know, this is very much a team that is easy to like.
It is.
We've made
this
point.
This team.
I mean, we're obviously employed by the same people who own the team, but trust me, in the past I haven't been afraid to be critical. We haven't been afraid to be critical of management. We haven't been afraid to be critical of players. There's some people who won't talk to us as a result of that. That's fine, but this is a likable group. You know, it's you hear things from people who are around the team, and we talked to a couple of players here and there. That this is a really likable group. They play their ass off for each other.
Yeah,
and
they actually mean that.
Yeah,
when they say that out loud.
You know, I'm just looking at the big screen here. Hazel, again, Hazel May. Hazel's going to write a book at some point on how to do these clubhouse celebration things.
She's a rock star for
Hazel
sure.
May talking to Ernie Clement on the screen right now.
How about that dude?
Ernie Clement, released, didn't have a job. I mean, I talked to him before the start of this series in front of his locker, and he just said, "Hey, man," he said, "I had to go home one off season and say, yeah, I gotta clean up. I gotta take my off season more seriously. I gotta take myself more seriously off the field. You know, I gotta take advantage of the opportunities I get." And boy, he has. I mean, Ernie Clement's going to be a Blue Jay for a while. He ain't going anywhere.
Absolutely. Well, they're not here without him. You know, everything he does on the defensive side, everything he does with the base running. I know he got picked off. That's impossible. I mean, you're in no man's land there on the line.
And I got to tell you, when that line and the play Kevin's talking about, I mean, God, we haven't.
Addison Barger hit a line drive to first baseman.
Yeah. And I thought with two on that end, and I thought,
first and third, nobody out.
Yeah, I thought, okay, this is, boy, I admit, I had visions of Julio Rodriguez turning on one and tying this game, and then I didn't know where it was going to go.
Well, we saw Hoffman throw 35 pitches yesterday. He's getting loose. He's coming in the game in the ninth inning. You'd like to have that cushion run, something that he can play with. Man, he's been good, Jeff. Like, the velocities went up, the location's on point. The slider was really good tonight. Split finger, you could tell he's a little tired with that. He was missing arm side, but all the other stuff, the guts that he showed, sort of working through that, how fiery he was. It's just pretty cool watching all that stuff play out. And we couldn't even watch it.
How about you didn't watch it? I was okay. You were walking around in the back. I'm not going to say any names here, but some of the security people here, I saw them. They weren't watching. They were in the back. I said to one of them, "Come on in." He said, "I'm not coming in.
I was standing with him.
Sit out here." And Chris Bassett being interviewed on the screen by Hazel right now. How about Chris Bassett? How about Kevin Gossman? How about Kevin Gossman and Chris Bassett?
Yeah.
That's the easiest. That might be the easiest relief inning I've seen a Blue Jay have this postseason from Kevin Gossman.
Yeah. Well, no,
from Chris Bassett.
Yeah, the Gossman thing, he had to work through that, right? He got some traffic on. He made a pitch when he had to make it.
Smart, though. Walk Naylor, went at Polanco. I'm okay with that.
Look, that's what you do, right? You navigate yourself around tough spots in the lineup. You can do that because you're a veteran guy, and, you know, the moment can never be too big for you. Give Chris credit, man. I mean, you know, he's went through it. He's getting a little older. The body just sometimes don't catch up to the mind, and, you know, to see him come out after, you know, what he went through and do the things he did to help him win this game and move on, it's pretty cool stuff.
All right, well, John Schneider just spoke to the team. Again, if you've got some sensitive ears, I'm just warning you. You know, we know how John Schneider rolls. This was John Schneider addressing the Blue Jays just a few minutes ago.
American League East champions, American League Division champions, American League champions. Wait. First time in 32 years the World Series comes back to this city and this country. So proud of every one of you. Enjoy every single moment of this tonight because you guys earned the out of it. Let's go!
There you go.
That's it.
Very disappointed that we beeped out that. It's one of my favorite words in the English language, and I think it needs to be said more often. Just kidding. Seamus and Kappa's Casing. What's up, Seamus?
Well, I just want to say that I've been a big fan since 92, 93. I was born in 1983, and, we had all the posters made up on Bristol board, and we were watching Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter, and, eventually I had a family, and we started listening. Well, I was listening to Jose Bautista and R.A. Dickey, and during that run, and now we're all sitting down here. My kids are 23 and 18, and we managed to get out to a baseball game in September against the Brewers, and of course the Blue Jays just performed fantastically, and we have been glued to this radio broadcast ever since. So I want to give a big shout out to not only the Blue Jays, but also the broadcast team, who have done an excellent job in broadcasting and doing the play-by-play. We get a real feel for what's going on here. And, we're way up here, 500 miles north of you folks down in Toronto. And thank you very much for just an excellent broadcast.
Seamus,
Awesome.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Listen, Ben and Chris are rock stars.
Yeah.
And I told Ben the other night, I'll tell you what we do. I usually watch the game in the press box, and I come down here in around the 7th or 8th inning and just kind of get set up. And I told Ben the other night, he and Chris have had some great calls of this series. And there's a lot of pressure on those guys. This is history, right? It's the same thing as when you work for a newspaper and you're writing a big story that's going to be in the front page of the paper, and you know that people are going to be running out and buying that paper and saving it. That's when people used to buy papers and save it, which is another story entirely. But yeah, we're all well aware of what we do, who we represent, who we're talking to, and in addition to hard work, there's an awful lot of care that goes into this, and on everybody's part, and we really appreciate your calls.
Well said.
Bucky in Nashville, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Thanks for watching you tonight. This is for last night. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, man. You're in Nashville.
Hey, in Nashville, the longtime Blue Jay fan. I'm glad to be enjoying the moment with you guys. I just wanted to comment about John Schneider. And I know a couple days ago you guys had a caller that was talking about class and all this stuff. But 23 years with the organization, I don't know anybody that's got that kind of commitment. There's a lot of us listening that are cheering right now that aren't even married that long. So I think Schneider did a hell of a job. And looking forward to going in as the underdogs against the Dodgers. Just wanted to know what you guys thought about Schneider, and I don't think a lot of people knew it was 23 years. I think that might have been a new thing for them tonight. So
yeah, well, listen,
love you guys.
Yeah, Bucky, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for this. I was surprised. John talked about being a teammate of Ricky Romero's.
Yeah.
So that tells you how long he has indeed been in this organization.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you,
He's a teammate of mine.
He's a teammate of Barker's, but
Yeah.
of course everybody's a teammate of yours, so
You're
that's kind of irrelevant at this point in time. I'm going to tell you a story. We were really hard on, I think fair, but we were really hard on John Schneider after Game 5 and after the Brendan Little decision. And frankly, we heard from some people about it, which is fine. But we were both in the field yesterday. Barker talked to John for about 20 minutes. I didn't want to butt in. I just walked up to John and I said, hey, man, I hope today's a better day than the other day. And he said, don't worry, it will be. That's John. John, you can criticize John. Mm-hmm. You can rip John as long as you acknowledge that John has his reasons for doing things. And if you do that, that's fine. He's a special dude. He's an organizational guy. Yeah. It's, man, man, you look at this. There's the organization's all over this thing. You know, Alejandro Kirk, Addison Barger. You look at these guys.
Addison Barger.
Addison
there
freaking
you go.
Barger. You know, we've been how many years I wrote the Blue Jays. I'd love to see the Blue Jays develop a homegrown left-handed hitter. Because they really haven't had one since Carlos Delgado. Now, I'm not putting Barger in that category, but this is an organizational win. You know, Mark Shapiro took a lot of grief when he talked about the importance of continuity and the importance of not throwing everybody out and, you know, throwing the baby out with the bathwater when something doesn't work out. He preached continuity with Ross Atkins, with John Schneider, with some of the players here, and yeah, this is a credit to this organization, man. They believed what they preached, and they stuck to it. And here they are going to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, they started this ball rolling down the hill in spring training, right? The way they handled George, the sort of the 26 against 1, moving the ball forward that me and you rolled our eyes at, but the point is that they started that soon enough to where they could get their team buying into it. And, you know, they brought in a new, hitting coach, which seemed to have worked. You know, David Popkins is, sort of just been that sort of lean on guy that, everybody trusts and is believing that, you have a good plan. You have your plan, you can go up and have a better chance of executing that and helping your team win a baseball game, and that's a big deal. Just the John thing real quick before we move on. It's, he believes in his team, and he believes in all 26 guys. You're right, I did talk to him for a long time on the field there for about 20 minutes, and that's the sort of the message he kept telling me was, it's hard sometimes. It's hard to believe in all 26 guys, and he did it. Will he do it again? I don't know. I mean, sometimes you got to earn sort of that right to believe in all 26 guys. There may be some adjustments there going forward, but the point is, take some guts, right, to believe in a guy that's got to help get you here and sort of give him a chance to help you get a little bit further. And, I give John credit. I mean, he stood there and listened to me talk and be hard on him, and he just John being John. He's a pretty cool dude. He's the perfect guy for this team. I say that, Jeff. He's the perfect guy.
We mentioned Ernie Clement was with Hazel May. Let's go to Ernie Clement.
Ernie Clement, congratulations. You're going to the World Series. How does that sound?
It sounds pretty damn good. It still hasn't really set in. It's so surreal. I don't know. I'm so proud of this group. I love these guys.
What about this group makes them so special, Ernie?
We don't stop fighting. I mean, you saw you could feel the energy in the 7th or whatever inning that was. God, I don't even remember. It was wild, and you could feel it, and that has a lot to do with the fans and the character of these guys in the locker room. So,
what was your reaction when you saw that ball Springer hit go out of the park?
It's cold. I just put my hands on my head. I couldn't believe it. I don't know why we were shocked. He's the most clutch player in postseason history, it seems like. So, just a huge swing from an amazing player.
Ernie, you've done huge things for this organization and this team this season. Enjoy this one. We'll see you when the World Series kicks off on Friday.
I can't wait. Let's get it.
That was Hazel May with Ernie Clement, and Ernie Clement talks about putting his hands on his head when George Springer hit that 3-run home run. It's funny, as soon as he said that, I mentioned to you there was a shot when Cal Raleigh hit that home run off Brendan Little of Ernie doing the same thing. Different reason. Ernie on the field, standing in the field with his back to the pitcher's mound, with his arms over his head, watching that ball go out. Cal Raleigh ended the game tonight on the on-deck circle, watching the Toronto Blue Jays celebrate a 4-3 win. The Seattle Mariners still have not advanced to the World Series. And, the Toronto Blue Jays are indeed going to the World Series. They will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Kevin Gossman and Chris Bassett pitched out of the bullpen tonight, pitched relief for the Blue Jays. Chris Bassett was on the IL, or not on the active roster for the first round. He was put on for this round. Some of us spent every day saying, today's the day Chris Bassett gets to pitch. Today's the day Chris Bassett gets to pitch.
You got it right.
You know what? Today was the day
Congratulations.
Chris Bassett finally got to pitch.
He was great.
And this is what he had to say with Hazel May.
Chris Bassett, congratulations. You've been at this a long time. You're going to your very first Fall Classic. What's going through your mind when I just said that?
I'm just grateful for this team, honestly. This team is so close. We love each other. And the thing I'm most proud about right now is like the families. A lot of the times the families get overlooked. Our wives are so close, our families are so close, and it shows on the field. We play together nonstop. It's really hard to beat us. And I love this team, man. I love this team, and we got 4 more. We got 4 more.
How fitting was it for you guys to come back in Game 7 when you come back so many times during the regular season?
Yeah, it's who we are. Again, we have the utmost belief in one another, and not just that. It's just there's no more pressure on anybody else, just because it's all of us. You have to kill us all. It's not a one-man show. You see it nonstop every night, 1 through 9, 1 through 10, 11. I'm somehow throwing the 8th inning. Like it's a true team, and I love this team.
I can't let you go without asking you about that experience coming out of the bullpen in a really close game. I mean, what are you thinking in that moment?
I mean, at first I was like, all right, it's a 3-run lead. I mean, two-run deficit. George hits a homer, and I'm like, oh shit, like I ain't giving up a run now. So yeah, it was just get this game to Hoffman and it's over. So again, I'm just so happy to be a part of this team.
We're happy for you, Chris. Enjoy this one. We'll see you later this week.
Thank you.
That is Chris Bassett with Hazel May. Just to give you the scene here at the Rogers Center, it is quite a scene. The Blue Jays families were out on the field. They're still out on the field. My God, this team has a lot of kids. They're all running around, kids of various sizes, various ages in left field. Kevin Gossam is just trying to track down somebody. He's not moving very steadily, I have to be honest. But anyhow, he's trying to track down somebody right now. There are a crap ton of fans who are still in the stadium tonight. Kevin, any guess, like the area to the left of the Blue Jays dugout? Like, there's a couple thousand, hey, at least.
Absolutely.
Still here, packed in, and I mean, I'm sure they took note of Miles Straw coming out the last time and spraying champagne in the fans. So, maybe they're waiting for that. A couple of other scenes out in the field. We got back the phone lines. Jose Bautista, the birthday boy. He was the birthday boy yesterday. He is down on the field, and there was an absolutely great shot of Dalton Varsho and his dad, Gary Varsho, on the field. Gary Varsho, long-time player, terrific hitting coach. And Dalton Varsho going to the World Series.
Well, yeah, I give the organization credit, Jeff. I mean, they do everything that they can to keep all these families happy and close. And, they want that family atmosphere. They seem to think, which, I mean, it's a great idea to have everybody just sort of involved throughout the season, and it's very important. That's a big deal.
Let's go to the Schwa. Luke and Oshawa, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, boys, how we doing?
We're doing well. Probably not as good as you from the sound of things, but the night is early.
I got 3 questions for you.
All right.
You ready?
It's here.
As long as it doesn't involve math.
1, are you guys going to be tarps off if we win the World Series?
Tarps off? Me?
No.
Are you nuts?
No.
Barker, maybe. Barker's ripped. I'm a 65-year-old fat white dude. I'm not taking my tarp off for anything. Listen, I'm that guy. I'm that guy that goes swimming with a T-shirt on, right? So
there you go.
Okay. We'll give you a pass. My second question is, did Schneid outmanage Wilson? Because I think he managed the bullpen better in the end. As much as we gave him a hard time with Little, I think he pulled it through in the end. What do you guys think?
I'm going to let my very good friend Jeff Passon. Where was Passon's text? Passon sent me a text during the game, as he always does, or often does. Basically, he said, which one of you two said whoever had to make the last decision would lose? Yeah, Dan will. Look, I mean, people are going to be talking about
Munoz.
About Munoz.
Yeah.
I mean,
7th inning,
Chris
top
LaRue
of the
said
order,
the same
up
thing,
2.
man. Munoz will give you a couple innings if you want him to.
He's done it before.
And I mean, he wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I expected him in earlier. There was some weird stuff going on. Gabe Spire was up in like the third inning, and we were all sitting there. We were with Pilar and Caleb. We're trying to look at our scorecard, scratching our head and going, now hang on here. George Kirby's just retired, 7 in a row, more than that in a row.
Third time through, Jeff.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out when he's going to come in the game. He doesn't end up coming in the game.
No.
And
Lefty getting ready for Addison Barger.
Okay, this is a little bit of news from our friend John Morosi. Thank you very much, Shoal Lee, our producer. John Morosi asked Bo Bichette if he'll be ready for the World Series. He said yes, quote, I'm good, he said. So there you go.
Nice.
If the Jays get Bo Bichette back, I'm just saying.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying
they'll have a better chance.
The approach this team has. I mean, look, I've got some concerns about the pitching. I admit I've got some concerns about how the pitching matches up.
Sure.
But with this team's approach, and you know what? I really don't have any. I don't care. I don't care. They could lose in 4 to the Dodgers. I'm a happy man, because the foundation. The foundation was always here. I think what happened this year is the foundation. I think what happened this year is the fans finally started to believe that the foundation could bear fruit. Something about this World Series. It is going to feature 2 big payroll teams.
Yeah.
The biggest payroll in the Dodgers. And the Blue Jays are 5th or 6th.
5th, I think.
You know what else it's going to feature? The Dodgers put more of their revenue into their payroll, a higher percentage of revenue into their payroll. In other words, the money they make, they stick it back in to give Shohei Ohtani his $1 billion contract. There's only 2 teams close to them when it comes to percentage of revenue that goes to payroll. The Toronto Blue Jays are one of them. In other words, the money the Jays make off the Blue Jays, or the money ownership makes off the Blue Jays, the percentage of that goes to baseball operations, that goes to payroll, is one of the top in baseball. So I'm putting that out there because you're going to hear the Dodgers are bad for baseball, yada yada. The Dodgers make a ton of money, and the Dodgers stick it back in the team. Jays make money, they stick it back into the team. And I think maybe fans, when I talk about the foundation being here, I think fans believe that now. Like literally, Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro can tell them that summer begins tomorrow, and people will go, "Yeah, you're absolutely right. Summer begins tomorrow." I mean, maybe not Ross, but I mean Mark could. I shouldn't really say that. 4-3, the Blue Jays have beaten the Seattle Mariners. I am nice.
That's nasty.
4-3, the Blue Jays have beaten the Seattle Mariners. They are off to the World Series. Hazel May, before we take a break, Hazel May caught up with Jeff Hoffman, and we'll hear from Jeff Hoffman.
We're here with Jeff Hoffman. What was that experience like to be out there to finish this one off?
Yeah, honestly, just wanted to get it done for these guys. They work so hard all season, all game. That was not an easy game to win. We had to claw back. We had to do it ourselves, and just wanted to bring it home for everybody.
This was certainly a different result in a Game 7 for you. How proud are you of this group to be able to really rally back and take this one?
Yeah, it didn't feel good going the other way. Felt like it was right in front of us, and then the crowd. Woo! Letting it slip through your hands is the worst feeling, and I was not going to let that happen again. I needed to flip what happened last time and pull through for these guys, and just really thankful that I did, and really happy for everybody.
Really happy for you. You're off to your first World Series. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jeff Hoffman.
Hey, give that dude credit, man. I mean, the conversation around him, and at the trade deadline, thinking about going out and getting a better arm for the 9th inning than he was, and the velocity where it's been basically most of the year, to come back and be the way he's been, I don't know, close to the last month. I mean, he's almost been lights out, and I think now all of a sudden when he's running out of the pen, you're happy. You're happy to see that. So kudos to him for all the adjustments he's made. He's been dominant. He's been one of the main reasons they're at where they're at right now.
All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to step away and take care of some business. We'll come back. I promise you. We got full phone lines. Promise you, we will get to the phone lines. The number is 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590, 590. Ross Atkins is on the field with his hat on backwards, man. He looks happy. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Thinking about upgrading your equipment? Finning has a deal that's built to reward you, whether you're a new or returning customer. From now until November 2nd, take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months on select CAT compact equipment. With payments starting as low as $1,458 a month, it's never been easier to own the gear you need. But hurry, these offers end November 2nd. To learn more and to book your demo today, visit your local Finning dealership or call 1-800-FINNING.
First real scoring chance for the Blue Jays since the first inning. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a fly ball. Left field and deep. Arozarena turns. Gone! A Springer dinger. 4-3 Blue Jays in the bottom of the seventh. One knee, no problem. You have to have that guy in a big game, and he crushed a pitch out to left center.
You have got to be kidding me, Ben. That is the best moment in sports I have ever seen.
Yeah, that was Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue summing up, I think, a lot of people's feelings. It is Blue Jays Talk. Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. I don't know what you all are doing Friday, but I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be watching a freaking World Series game in Toronto. That's what I'm going to be doing. Game 1 of the World Series, folks, right here at the Rogers Center, Friday. Yeah, you might want to make plans for the weekend. There could be some stuff going on.
Hall of Famers running all over the place.
They'll be
all over the place.
Yeah, there will be Hall of Famers.
Man.
There's going to be like a million Joe Carter sightings, I'm sure, in the next couple of days, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great. The Blue Jays. You know, when you celebrate Blue Jays history, most of the time you talk about 92, 93, a little bit about 2015, 2016, well, now the 2025 Blue Jays, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Now they're starting to write their own history. Vladdy is out in the outfield right now, holding I believe that's the American League Championship Series MVP trophy. The Jays are out in the field with most of their family members. Kind of a cool moment just a few moments ago. The Blue Jays grounds crew, I don't know if you know, if you go to the ballpark before games, you'll notice that they usually stand just along the left field line and they applaud as the Blue Jays players run off. And they're gathered around the pitcher's mound, anxiously waiting to begin their job of cleaning this place up and getting it ready for Friday. And a number of the players have come over and shaken hands with them and hugged them. And I'm sure at some point bottles of champagne will work their way over there as well. 4-3, the Toronto Blue Jays, they have beaten the Seattle Mariners. They have punched their ticket to the World Series the first time since 1993. The Jays did something no other team has done. They lost their first 2 home games in the ALCS. Fell behind 0-2, went on the road, brought it back home, and ended up winning the series. George Springer, you just heard that call of his home run. George Springer now going down in Toronto sports history, it's safe to say. We had a little bit of a debate. Joe Carter's home run, biggest home run in franchise history. A walk-off to win the World Series. Doesn't get any bigger than that.
Nope.
But then somebody, I don't know who it was in the press box, said, is this a bigger home run than Jose Bautista's bat flip? Oh, it was you, Barker. Thanks for that. And my initial reaction was, And then I thought, well, this did send the Blue Jays to the World Series. So my guess is that's something we can talk about tomorrow. Right now, we're going to talk about the Jays beating the Seattle Mariners 4-3. I want to do it with you. Gary in Brampton, you've been very patient. How you doing? You're on Blue Jays.
Hey, Gary.
Hey. Thanks for taking the call. I'm just driving home from the game right now.
Okay, that's important stuff, man. How's the traffic? Because I'm going to be doing that eventually, too.
I beat the traffic, but I tell you guys, I just want to share some milestones. I'm a long-time season ticket holder, and I was there in 1985 at Exhibition Stadium with the Kansas City Royals, Game 7, and which we lost. and it was -10 with that wind chill. I got to tell you, it was I think, Jeff, you were probably there. It was a very cold night. We moved to the Sky Dome, and I was there in 1993 when Joe Carter hit the home run in Game 6. And fast forward, I was there when Batista hit the home run in 2015, and Edwin hit the home run in the wild card in 2016. Tonight, this was incredible, and I'm telling you, I've never seen the Rogers Center so electric in the last 40 years of seeing baseball in Toronto. And I'm really happy I was able to bring my son to the game tonight to experience it. And I'm looking forward to being there Friday night for the World Series. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate the call. I'm sure there are a lot of people who, have made memories tonight with their kids. It's a funny thing, and I guess maybe because I didn't grow up in Toronto and didn't move here till 2000, but I really do think. And I had this conversation actually yesterday with Andrew Miller of the Players Association. We were talking about the Blue Jays and how the rest of the country views them and the whole, they're Canada's team thing. And I told them, the thing you have to remember, there are great wide swaths of this country, especially in rural areas, where you play hockey in the winter and you play baseball, or as we used to call it, hardball, because you play a lot of softball in the prairies, and you play hardball in the summer. And, this is... As I tell people, there are two true national sports brands in Canada. One, any Team Canada, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. Stick a maple leaf on the jersey, everybody cheers for them. There's the Raptors to a certain degree, although I don't think they have as much cachet nationally as the Blue Jays, and there's the Blue Jays. NHL teams, I hate to tell you this, well, you probably know, there are lots of folks around the country who don't like the Maple Leafs. There are a lot of people in Toronto who don't like the Ottawa Senators or the Montreal Canadiens, and quite frankly, as I've said, everybody hates the Vancouver Canucks, whether you're in Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Montreal, Ottawa, or Toronto. So the Blue Jays are kind of a national brand.
Yeah.
And this is, there'll be a lot of this. Again, this sucker's on in bars in Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Morden, Winkler. I think Winkler has a bar at Never Used to. That's another story. North Bay, all those places. That's the entire country's watching this right now.
Yeah, I can't go out anywhere without people coming up to me talking about the Blue Jays, happy about a Blue Jay, asking about Hazel. Like just
no one asks about me.
Everybody, they say is he as mean as he looks? Absolutely, he is. He's swirly. Yeah, he is. He's impossible to work with, but I deal with him because he is Jeff Blair. But that point is that everybody loves the Jays. Everybody is bought into this team. Give the organization credit, Jeff, for the continuity of the team. The likability of the team is huge. Like it's. Their 2015 team, you can dislike some dudes on that team. There's not really anybody on this team
I don't know about that.
There's, opposing teams, and this team they just outplay you. Like they do the things that they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it because they can. And that's kind of a cool thing.
There were times, I'll admit, as someone who had to cover that 2015 team, they had some guys who could be a pain in the ass at times to deal with. I loved it because
I did too.
That's me.
Yeah. And I was too.
And but yeah, this team is Bo Vlad. Man, I'll tell you what. Morosi's tweet, Bo Bichette saying that he's ready to go, that he's good to go. That just.
Is he playing short?
Yeah.
You seen that dude playing short for the Jays? He's pretty good, eh?
Dude playing short's pretty good. Dude playing short's pretty good.
Also that guy that DHs every day is pretty good, too.
Yeah, maybe we'll just... Anyhow, let's go to Sam in Hamilton.
Hey, guys. First of all, isn't this game just a representation of this team?
Yes.
Every time you think that they're down, they come back and have a huge moment, and then the bullpen just saves it. Anyways, isn't it kind of funny how one of the three of the most iconic home runs in franchise history have all come against AL West teams? Alomar against Oakland, Batista against the Rangers, and now Springer against the Mariners.
Yes.
Something about the Blue Jays in the AL West.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that, and that is a great call because that Alomar home run against the Oakland Athletics, the Oakland Athletics were one of the teams that just stood in the way of the Blue Jays getting to where they ultimately wanted to go. They had Dennis Eckersley. Dennis Eckersley was a knob. Let's just face it. He was when he was on the mound. When Robbie Alomar took him deep, it was like this weight had been lifted off the franchise. They went on to win the World Series. And, again, this is this Blue Jays team beat a Seattle Mariners team that partied on their own, partied at the Rogers Center a couple of years ago, right? That collision, Springer and Bo, and Jordan Romano melting down, all the stuff that went into that game. Tim Mesa melting down, and I think it was 8-1 at one point, and the Mariners came back to win. So, yeah, they've checked some boxes, man. They've checked some boxes this year between beating the Yankees, beating the Yankees to the point where, they basically sucked the life out of the Yankees franchise, and had the general manager saying afterwards, Brian Cashman said this week, hey, we got rolled by the Blue Jays in the regular season. They rolled us again in the playoffs. We couldn't beat the Blue Jays. That's why we're not still in the playoffs. So they slayed that dragon and slayed the Mariners dragon. And guess what? In comes Shohei Ohtani and Roki Sasaki. All right, we've got to just point this out, too. On the field, again, I talked about the grounds crew who just finished being doused with beer. And they are now, I don't know who that is walking over there with the American League Championship Series trophy, just shaking hands with all the grounds crew, which is kind of cool. And there's still a lot of fans here, man.
Yeah.
They're still, they've thinned out, but there's still a couple of hundred at least here.
Yeah, I see Buck Martinez down there on the field. That's pretty cool.
I do see Buck
Hugging,
Martinez
shaking
on the
hands.
field, getting hugged.
Yeah.
I see Andres Jimenez with his shirt off. Who's that? He's talking to Hazel.
No, that's Dalton Varsho.
Is that Varsho?
That's Dalton
Varsho.
Varsho.
Whatever. Yeah, I guess it is. I just can't tell. You can't tell when the shirts are off necessarily.
Well, there's only a couple of people that take their shirt off all the time.
That's
George
true.
Springer, he's out there in left field.
Springer,
he can do what he wants.
Oh yeah, Springer,
whenever he wants
Springer
to do
can
it.
walk around the city nude for the rest of his life, as far as people are concerned. Will in Calgary, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey boys, it's so amazing to get with you guys today. One of your callers earlier talked about the memories that you make from moments like this. My wife and I got married about a year ago, and for the last year, I've been telling her about the Batista game and the Batista home run. And it's amazing to be able to have this with her now and for her to have this own memory. A quick story for you guys. Right before Jimenez hit the home run in Game 3, I sent my wife, I was kind of out of it after they surrendered those early runs, and I was really down, and I sent my wife a Word Bites game on text message, and we were casually playing that, and then Jimenez hits his home run. Game 4, similar thing. Right before Jimenez hit his home run, I sent her a Word Bites there. And then tonight we're looking for all the magic we can in the 7th inning, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't sent my wife a Word Bites during the game yet today, and sent it to her right after that first runner got on base in the 7th inning, and next thing you know, before I can finish that game, Springer hits that home run, and the Jays are going to be heading to the World Series, boys.
I'll tell you what, do that Friday, Saturday. And do it for the rest of the week as well, and let us know when you do it if you're going to bring that type of magic to the Blue Jays. And thanks for the call, Tony in Cornwall. Why am I not surprised that I'm hearing from you tonight?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
So no Seattle slew tonight. We slew the Seattles. How's that? And
Seattle slew. Okay, I get it. That's good.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, you're the writer, right? So
allegedly.
Well, who says allegedly? I never said that.
Yeah.
But Jeff, what a comeback, and the resolve in that team and the way they played as a team, and what I love about that is that I'm sitting in a bar today in Montreal, and came to see my friends, and there's people from Toronto, Montreal. And like you said, across the whole country, we're still cheering for the Blue Jays. And who else would you not want to be cheering for a great leader like Vlad and Springer? Just amazing athletes. The team plays for itself. There's none of this competition among superstars on that team. And the guys that play the role, the small ball team, the guys that come up with those crazy hits in the 7th inning, the whole crew, I call them the demolition crew. Every one of them, from Jimenez to the great hitters that you have that are creating small hits, taking off pressure, and then bang, George comes through with this amazing hit, turning the city on its ear. And you got to love it. And you know what? One thing, LA thinks that they're going to steamroll the Blue Jays. Well, guess what? I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to learn that the Blue Jays have the fight in them, they have the dog in them, they have the pitching staff, and they have a smart manager, and they have a decent a crowd that'll be in there supporting them, and not just decent, but overwhelmingly crazy fans. And guess what? You know, we have the right mix of great ball players that can play both offense, small ball, and long ball. And defense, like you said, Jimenez is a great shortstop, and we didn't lose anything by losing our great hitter. And like right now, I would say that we should just keep rolling along and keep it positive. Blue Jays go all the way.
Tony, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Again, Bo Bichette letting John Morosi know that he, in his mind, he's good. Quote, I'm good. He's ready to go. The good news is you've got 4 days to rest up, get treatment. I'm sure they'll have him run. It seems that running the base is kind of the last thing, right? We're led to believe that essentially being able to go, I was going to say go first to third. But
well,
you got to
first
be
to
able to
third's
do
a big
that.
deal, too. Remember, too, the last time he had the little hiccup was around second base.
Exactly.
Where he felt that pain again, and they sort of backed him off. So, yeah, he'll be a big add. You got to find the right place for him. He's going to play defense. If he's going to DH, what's that do to George? Like, they got some things to iron out there. But they got a couple of days. It never hurts to have your cleanup hitter back. I'm assuming John's going to throw him right back into the cleanup spot and protection for Vladdy, and now all of a sudden your lineup's a little bit longer. You got a run producer in there, somebody that can hit some big-time pitching, because, Jeff, they're about to get it. Like, they're about to get some dudes in that rotation for the Dodgers.
They're about to take a step into the vortex.
That's the deep
they really
end of the pool, boy.
There's
but
you're going to see a lot of pitching. But
for me, they're the only team in the American League that can do this.
Yeah.
They're the only team that has a chance of beating the Dodgers.
You know, they make contact, the whole up and down. I'm with you. I think, it's funny. We were sitting there thinking about how the hell are we going to watch a Seattle-LA World Series? And you know what? I think there are people in Major League Baseball who are happy as hell that the Blue Jays are in, because it's always better when you have kind of a coast-to-coast thing happening. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to find a crap ton of people in the United States cheering for the Blue Jays. It's going to be fascinating. And, right now you look at it and you think it could be a short series. I thought this one might be a short series and going the other way.
How dare you?
So I'm not prepared to say that right now. Let's see if Bo is healthy. I think that'll have a say on how this series goes. But, man, after what we saw tonight, the magic we've seen throughout this series, and let's not forget, we're going to talk a lot about Shohei Ohtani the next couple of days. The best hitter in the postseason right now ain't Shohei Ohtani. He ain't playing for the Dodgers. He's playing for the Toronto Blue Jays. It is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Matt in Vancouver, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Yo, hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. You're just talking Blue Jays coast to coast, like being Canada's team. You were talking a few minutes ago about them being, like, popular in rural areas, but you got to know, I'm in Vancouver, born and raised Vancouver, right? We're not going to talk hockey, but, like, the single A affiliate for the Toronto Blue Jays is the Vancouver Canadians. Mm-hmm. And like, Barger came up through here. Yes, Savage obviously played a few games for us this season.
John Schneider managed you.
John Schneider managed us to a three-peat championship. Like, we are invested. Over here on the other coast, it's only 9 o'clock, and we're going to party. We're going to keep the party going so hard because the Blue Jays are 100% Canada's team. And this whole, I don't know who organized this, but Vancouver being the minor affiliate for the Blue Jays just, like, has built this investment. And I know I got a couple Mariners fans here because geographically they're not wrong, but they're going to jump on the Toronto bandwagon for sure. For sure. I know they're going to, like, trade their hats this week or Friday.
Awesome. I appreciate the call.
Yeah,
Thanks
we'll
a lot.
it.
And, you still got a lot of partying to do in Vancouver. It is 3 hours behind. And it is true. The Vancouver Canadians is a very important part of the foundation of this franchise. A lot of guys have come through there. We talked about John Schneider, the manager, coming through there. And, one of the reasons that the Blue Jays jumped at the opportunity to be part of the Vancouver Canadians, to join at the Canadians ownership group, is they knew. I mean, it makes perfect sense. You do want to take the brand across the country. And there's, you can have the games on TV and You can have the games on the radio, but there's something about being able to go out to the ballpark on a summer evening, watch a team, watch some guys play, and a year later turn on your TV set and the dude's pitching in the AL Championship Series. It's not even a year later. It's the same damn year. That is something different entirely. Lauren and Simcoe, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, Blair and Barker. Love the show. Love the pod. Love the show the whole year.
Thank you, man.
As the 90s kids growing up in rural Southern Ontario, 90s Jays was it. Back to back, we wore the shirts, we wore the jackets, we wore the winter jackets. It inspired us to play ball. It inspired us to love the Blue Jays. My daughter now, Isabel, she got into playing baseball for her love of watching Bo, Vladdy, and George. And I can't say enough good about Uncle George. I told you this before, Blair. I thought he was going to be a bad contract. We're going to have to buy him out. He saved our regular season, and he saved our playoff season. And I'm glad I said a prayer 2 days ago for Uncle George, and I'm glad we have him. And he is an amazing person to have for our team and our country.
Yeah, he is. Listen, I appreciate the call. You know, we talked about this a little bit on the pregame show. Somebody asked George a question today in the media availability about it being his 5th elimination game. And I looked at you, and I said, that can't be right. And I said on the air that I wasn't entirely certain I was right. Somebody, of course, a listener, sent out a tweet or an X or whatever the hell it is. And, yeah, it is right. 5 elimination games for George Springer. 23 career postseason home runs.
So it's almost like he's lived that 7th inning before in his mind, in real life, knows how to make an adjustment against a good pitcher, doesn't let that moment get too big. Jimenez getting the bunt down, there's
a lot of us. Hey, what about Addison Barger drawing a walk?
Yeah, how about
drawing
that?
A leadoff walk.
How about that? How about IKF getting a single up the middle?
Mm-hmm.
How about Jimenez bunting them over like a perfect bunt? I mean, that's not the easiest thing to do, right, against some good pitchers who throw hard with some late movement. And then George comes up, and I mentioned that in-game adjustment. You could tell Seattle had made an adjustment against those big righties. They were throwing them hard in, soft away. The booing, the first 2 pitches of the game from George Kirby was those sinkers up and in. That was the thing, right? You got to make them uncomfortable. You got to get it in there. If you want to get them out of the way, you got to get them sort of respecting that velocity and that movement in. And for George to come up and, look in there and get one that's a little out over the plate and do the damage that he did, and knew when it left the bat that it was a homer. I mean, boy, you talking about a giant pair, Jeff.
Oh,
man.
Yeah.
That's boy.
That's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a substantial pair to do what he did. And we were watching Caleb and Pilar and just watching the way they were pitching them high and inside. Yeah. And, I mean,
their lineup was dead. They just didn't have anything going. Yeah. Their at-bats were, a little non-competitive. And then sort of that 7th inning happened, and Addison Barger got the walk, which, is very aggressive.
Did you second-guess the Kirby move from Dan Wilson?
I mean, that's, it's 3rd time through. You're not allowing sort of that part of the lineup to see him. It sounded to me it looked to me like because of how hard he was throwing. I mean, all of his pitches went up about almost 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's just sort of the plan was go out there and let it eat as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then we're going to turn it over to a plethora of bullpens. I just don't understand the Nunez thing. I mean, he's your closer. He's basically unhittable.
Yeah.
And you don't bring him in the biggest part of the game up to the top of the order against the Blue Jays. I just don't get that.
There were a couple of. I mean, the other one too. The second inning, you put the first 2 men on base. J.P. Crawford comes up. J.P. Crawford is 6 for 12 with 4 RBI against Shane Bieber. You have him bunt in the second inning, bringing your 8 and 9 hole hitters up. Your 8-hitter, Rivas, strikes out. Your 9-hole hitter grounds out. I'm just that to me, man, I got Shane Bieber on the ropes. I basically said, here's an out.
Yeah.
And now you get to work against my 2
Yeah, how about
hitters.
Shane, too? Shane didn't look very good, right? I mean, the location wasn't real good. The spin wasn't real good. I mean, he grinded through it. I mean, basically every one of those innings, 3 out of the 4, the leadoff hitter got on. One of those was a Rodriguez homer. Just nothing was working. He grinded through it. He figured it out. Again, I think that's sort of the Jays in 2025 is when you don't have it, you sort of figure out or do whatever you have to do. It was more elevation. It was more, he started throwing a few more change-ups. You could tell just by the way he was walking around the mound, looking in their dugout, Skip, I'm throwing everything I got at him. It's everything but the kitchen sink. It, in the end worked out. But just a collection of a bunch of dudes trying to get it done, and finally somebody walked up and ran into one. Boy, homers are fun to watch, Jeff.
You know,
Man,
whatever
they're
happened
awesome.
to the Blue Jays were going to have to win games with contact and things like that.
Well,
I
they
mean,
kind of did in the seventh inning. It's sort of the whole sort of 2025 season rolled into the seventh inning, right? The walk, the IKF that they brought over, got the single, and then the sack bunt, and then Big George walks up and runs into one. It's sort of that's 2025.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say goodbye to the network in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to continue right through to 1 Eastern on Sportsnet 5net. Parker just dropped his pen. No, we're going to continue through to 1 Eastern on Sportsnet 590. Yeah, neither do I. Well, I mean, you're not going anywhere because she's not going anywhere, and she's down in the field talking to people. So, so we will be continuing the coverage on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and if you're listening to us online, we will be going right through to 1 o'clock Eastern. Again, feel free. There are a couple lines open, 416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590, 590 is the text line. Let's squeeze in one more call before we break. Chris Dawson in Winlaw, BC. C-Daw, how you doing?
How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
You know, I'm talking to you off a porch and a cabin in the middle of the mountains.
I'm not surprised.
I'm jealous.
You were, my friend Barker's jealous.
I love that stuff.
Life is long, Jeff. I am so glad to talk to you again, and I love your post-game shows. And what a win!
Yeah, it was something, man. It was something. It was crazy.
Unbelievable.
It was crazy. I haven't covered a team.
I remember watching the World Series because I'm old enough.
Yeah.
And in a little pub in Calgary, and jumping up and down, and we can only hope, right?
Yeah. It's yeah. I mean, it's going to be a tough road, but I mean, if any team can do it, this team can do it, man.
Yep.
You know, that's
you never know.
That's
You
kind of the
never know.
approach. Good to hear from you, man.
Hey, buddy. You know what? It's so good to talk to you and hear from you and listen to you and touch base again.
Good talking to you, man. We'll keep in touch.
Old Calgary Herald days. Take care,
Absolutely.
Jeff.
Take care, man. Be well. As Chris Dawson, C-Daw we used to call him, wrote with me at the Calgary Herald in 1987.
Wow.
Yeah, believe it or not, I was still alive. I was alive in 87.
I was
11. That was like, shut up. You were 11. That was like my second job in newspapers.
Was it?
And now he's living in, see what I do to people?
How
And
about
now he's
that?
living in a mountain in BC.
Good for him.
Or in a cabin in
That's
BC.
a beautiful place. Been there
Barker,
a couple
that's
of
your
times.
dream, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
That's your dream.
Yeah.
It's great to hear from Chris Dawson. Here's what we're going to do. As I said, we're going to step away from the network. We're going to come back and continue the dialogue right up to 1 o'clock. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Postseason Baseball. Canada's team is back in the playoffs, and your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers are proud to be a part of it. For over 40 years, Crown has protected vehicles from rust, keeping them strong and ready for the road, just like a great playoff baseball team. Crown Rust Control, proud sponsor of your Toronto Blue Jays radio broadcasts.
Pretty humbled to be part of it, you know what I mean? I've said it before, besides my wife and kids, this is what I pour my life into. So to be leading the team that's going back to the World Series for the first time in 32 years kind of hits me a little bit, and I couldn't be happier for every single guy on the team and in the clubhouse, not just the players but the staff too. So we're gonna enjoy tonight big time, you know, and realize how hard it is to get here, and then get back to work and get ready for the Dodgers.
That is a man who will never, ever have to pay for a drink again as long as he's in Toronto. That is John Schneider, manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, the American League champion Toronto Blue Jays. They are off to the World Series. That's right. They're off to the World Series to play the Los Angeles Dodgers starting on Friday at the Rogers Center. The Jays beating the Seattle Mariners 4-3 tonight. For the first time since 1993, the Toronto Blue Jays will be in the World Series. Think about that for a minute. All the stuff you've been through as a Toronto sports fan, all the stuff you've been through as a Blue Jays fan, some of it good, but a lot of it frustrating.
All the stuff me and you've been through.
All the stuff Yeah, me and you have been through.
How about that?
A team that we never thought that, well, yeah, a team we didn't think at the start of the year would be here.
Yeah.
A team that moved into first place in the AL East. Canada Day, George Springer, of course, having a big role in that. And staying in first place the rest of the year, having to win out to keep the New York Yankees at bay, beating the New York Yankees, and then going on to beat the Seattle Mariners after losing the first 2 games at home. That just doesn't happen. But it happened for the 2025 Toronto Blue Jays. Amon in Victoria, BC. You're on Blue Jays Talk.
First off, great show as always, fellas, and behind the scenes as well. Just wanted to echo, this is Canada's team. Make absolutely no mistake about it. I was 16, celebrated 32 years ago when they did it, when Touch 'Em All happened. This is up there. I think this beats, second only to Touch 'Em All. Up there with Alomar, versus Eck was pretty special, and Neil Rester obvious too. But I just wanted this angle here, fellas. I watch a lot of sports, and I think this is, I've always thought the Stanley Cup was the hardest trophy to win, but this is making an argument this year. This really is, this is a fairy tale. And the management, coaches and other sports, this is truly where I think the men get separated from the boys. This is a chess game, and I'm sure everyone criticized Schneider in Toronto as much back out here on the West Coast when he didn't bring the right guy in Game 5. But this is unbelievable chess game. This guy's the real deal. 23, 24 years in the organization. You can see how much it means to all of them. This is absolutely unbelievable. I wish I was of the age that I was out in the street celebrating like I did when I was a teenager. But this is absolutely great. Great coverage as always. This is Canada's team. There's a clip going around in the dressing room of the Les Habitants, the Habs, and they're interviewing, I think it's Gooley. I'm not sure who it is. And you hear the cheers when the Springer Dinger happened. So make no mistake, all love out here in Victoria, BC, West Coast. You take care, fellas. Great show, and go Birds.
Thank you. Appreciate the call, Amon. Yeah, the cool thing about doing this show and the cool thing about having the Sportsnet radio network and being online is, we get to hear, we get to hear from folks across the country. It's cool for me because I've lived in Winnipeg, Kingston, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Calgary, Montreal here, so I kind of feel like I've pretty much lived across the country. Mm-hmm. And it really does. It really resonates, man. And it's great. This is what sports is supposed to do. Sports is supposed to bring people together. I'm not going to get all maudlin about it, but it is. And it doesn't bring everybody together, but there are, this team has succeeded. I'm sorry, I'll tell you what happened in a minute. This team has succeeded in doing that. There are still a couple of dozen fans here. The players and their families, some of them are still in the field. I wish I had a camera in this because right now on the pitcher's mound, Jose Bautista and Marco Estrada. Marco Estrada threw out the first pitch tonight. Jose Bautista threw out the first pitch the other night. I think they're comparing their first pitches. Batista,
I think so too.
And Estrada.
Yeah, I think so too.
This is a detailed baseball talk with the ground screw. The Estrada was showing where his foot landed or something like that.
I know Jose was practicing before he threw out his
Estrada. He's showing.
Yeah. They are really into it. Stride and how their extension and release point and keep your shoulders square.
And what
they're all into it. It's pretty. Everybody's around them watching them.
And people forget that Jose Bautista attempted a comeback as a pitcher. He attempted a comeback as a pitcher. It didn't go very well.
No.
But he attempted a comeback as a pitcher.
Yeah, I just want to get back to the John thing. I'm happy for John. Like, John's been through it a little bit, right, with the pitching moves. And
he's been through it a lot.
Absolutely. And he's taken a lot of heat from everybody, including us. I know Pete Walker, the pitching coach, really took that hard in Game 5. And I know John was walking him off the plank for a little while, which, they're really invested. They really take everything to heart when it comes to their team and their players. And I'm happy that now fans believe in John and believe in the coaching staff. And, just think that John's the right guy in the right spot. And, maybe that'll change if he makes a wrong move against the Dodgers. Sometimes that's the way it is, right? It's what have you done for me lately? But, John puts his heart and soul into that. It's not just because he's sitting around going, how can I screw this up? He puts a lot of thought into the pitching moves he's trying to make, and his lineups and just everything that goes into the product on the field to try and make it the best it can possibly be. And I'm really happy for everybody.
This is hilarious. Vladdy and his entourage are just walking off the field. Somebody's got the trophy, the MVP trophy. It isn't Vladdy. The last time we saw Vladdy, he was spraying fans with a hose. So whoever, Vladdy and a hose, when those things get together, bad things are going to happen. It looks like Batista and Estrada have finished their discussion about the first pitch, and they're walking. It was great to see Marco Estrada, by the way. I mean, the guy whose pitching performance here still goes down as one of the great pitching performances in club history. Tonight we got to talk about two other guys, man. Kevin Gossman and Chris Bassett coming out of the bullpen, keeping things steady, giving the Jays offense a chance to get going, and then Jeff Hoffman coming in and closing it up.
It was odd seeing Kevin run out of the pen. I don't know about you, but when I saw that, it just didn't look right? I mean, it was in game, and then to see him come out and, throw and do whatever it took to get the outs he needed to get out, it was just, we heard John say, we're up to using whoever, and sometimes we roll our eyes. We were rolling our eyes about, right. And to actually see him come out and perform the way they did was pretty awesome.
Charlie and Thornhill, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
What a night, Blair and Barker. I mean, what a night. Let's let's just revel in it. I have so many baseball and sports and philosophical thoughts exploding through my head, but I'll keep it succinct to a few different points. First of all, a pleasure for real listening to you guys all season. I often tuned in. The Blue Jays broadcasts in general, including you guys for the color, the analysis in color, has been fantastic. I always liked Barker, but he gets better for real. You get better with the more you listen to, like a fine wine, right? You think at the beginning you think maybe he's just a baseball guy who just loves baseball, which you do obviously. Mm-hmm. But you see the analysis is very sophisticated, so that's awesome. I mean, the narratives are endless. The positive narratives, if Jeff, you were still writing for the newspaper, you should definitely lobby for a big feature front page on sportsnet.ca or whatever.
Yeah.
About all the narratives, man, are incredible. Going into the game, I did believe. I was positive. I was optimistic. Then as the game went on, I lost most of the optimism because I braced myself as a Toronto sports fan to be disappointed yet again. And I started getting, well, you know what? It was still a good season. I started telling myself that. And then all of a sudden, in the seventh inning, no joke, I was like, you know what? They're going to win. They're the number one comeback team in the majors this year. They're going to do it again. And they did. And then just an epic home run by Georgie. Yeah, I think it vaults into second place in Blue Jays history, narrowly above Alomar, and noticeably, in terms of importance, above Batista and Encarnacion, even though those home runs were epic too. But this one was more significant. It just was. So second, clearly, I think only to Carter. It's going to be Vladdy versus Shohei starting in Toronto. It's, this is the final boss. The Dodgers are the final boss.
Yes, they are.
A fitting final boss because they are the best team in the best organization in the majors. They're the new, maybe not evil empire, but they're their new empire. And yeah, go Jays, go! It's what a season! What a season so far! Amazing.
Happy for you. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much, Vincent Scarborough. You're on Blue Jays Talk. What's up, Vince?
Hey, thanks, guys. I remember in the 90s listening to the baseball games, Tom and Jerry, driving to soccer. The other summer sport in Canada.
Oh yeah, I know soccer. You're a soccer guy.
And now, 30 years later, listening to the ball game on the radio, nothing beats it. And I'm thinking about this Blue Jay team today against the Dodgers. It reminds me a little bit of the 2019 Raptors going against Golden State. The heavy hitters, Golden State. That's what the Dodgers are. Kawhi Leonard, we got Vladdy. And, it's a nice team. And I didn't know much about the baseball team this year, okay? I'm just a fair weather fan jumping on here for the last month. I kind of thought they were like a Moneyball team. And then you just told me they got the second most revenue in baseball and a high cap. But it's all these guys I never heard of that are coming together. Those double plays last game, those two double plays for that young pitcher, that was real baseball for me. But I think that saved the series. That changed everything. And I like the way how candid you guys are after hours. It's pretty fun to listen to, boys. So keep up the good work. And those two guys on the radio, Showman and LaRue. Yeah, keep it going, man. It's great commentary. Thanks a lot.
Okay, I appreciate it. No, I will pass that on to them, although I'm sure actually LaRue's probably listening right now. I don't know what the traffic's like outside. I don't know what the situation is with. I did see the City of Toronto police horses out there. So.
I'm sure it's not good.
Well, I'm going to apologize. Is this Rattan? Did I say it right? Rattan in Mississauga? There. Very good for me, I think. How you doing, Rattan?
Yeah, Jeff, it's Rattan. Yeah,
Rattan?
you got it right.
Come on, show. You're supposed to jump in here and help me with this. Anyhow, go ahead.
You're good. You're good, Jeff. Good, Jeff. Fan of yours and Blair Barker. Sorry, yours more so. So I'll give you your cred rather than the last caller. But I wanted to give a little shout out because we saw the video that went viral from the Jays last game, and it kind of reminded me of the Mets broadcast. I follow him on Twitter. John Dramasco, Baseball Cinema. That shot of Vladdy getting emotional, just talking about Game 7, was a work of art. It was just beautiful. So Dan Schulman on Twitter pointed out the cameraman operator's names.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting on the top of my head. So credit to those gentlemen. They did a brilliant job. I just really wanted to shout that out because that's just a work of art. Work of art.
Beautiful. Appreciate
my
it.
main point, so.
And you got a point to make. You wanted to talk about the bullpen, I think, didn't you?
Exactly. Yes, sir. So we talked about it. We had two guys that were very unfamiliar with this ever since, Gosman's Giants outing. Well, I've seen viral on Twitter. Ever since then, it was just him and Max Scherzer, that two starters that did a last bullpen outing. So it was going to be unfamiliar territory. But Goz rose up to the challenge. Varland rose up to the challenge. We knew Bieber didn't have his best stuff, but still he was able to get a decent amount of Ks, limit his runs as best as we want from a starter in this time of the year. So while he didn't have his best stuff, a combination of himself with the guys I named earlier, Dominguez, Hoffman, everyone pulled their weight today because Ash Schneider said it was an all hands on deck effort, and this fully showed the capabilities of this bullpen's capabilities when everyone is pulling in one direction. It was just a thing of beauty, honestly.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Thanks for that. And listen, I mean, we're gonna be reliving Gausman and Bassett for a long time. Maybe we have to start turning our attention to the World Series now. There are going to have to be some lineup decisions that are going to have to be made. Some pitching decisions are going to have to be made.
Mm-hmm. How does Bo fit in?
Yeah. That's kind
defensively,
of
I think, more than offensively.
Yeah, how Bo fits in is a question. Again, for those of you who haven't heard, we're just John Morosi had a conversation with Bo Bichette, and Bo certainly seems as if he's ready to go, or if he's planning to go. Again, he's going to have to check some boxes. But, I don't know. I kind of thought for a while he might be on the ALCS roster. I'll just wait and see about that. But there'll have to be some pitching decisions made as well. Does John stick with the same starting rotation? Does he maybe change things up a bit? I don't know. It's Bieber wasn't that effective tonight. Trey Savage's velocity was down in his last start. Is that something that John has to think about? Chris Bassett looks awfully good. Chris Bassett's fresh. Do you look? And you know what? One thing about Chris Bassett, he didn't lose at home. He does not lose at home. So maybe do you put Chris Bassett in one of those games?
Boy, that looked really good coming out of the pen.
It sure did.
Yeah, the velocity was really good. The break on the stuff, when he's throwing that hard, it can almost tell you it's coming. That would be tough taking him out of that spot just because of what they don't have down there, and he can get a lefty out too. Also with
and he throws 1,000 pitches.
Yeah,
so.
But he can shorten that up, right, and be sort of a 3-pitch guy, and you can tell he's a little fiery. Like he was pumped up coming off the mound. That heart rate goes up, and he's made a little bit of an adjustment when it comes to that. Yeah, there's some decisions, but I'm sure John will have fun filling that out and trying to figure out how it's going to make his team the best.
Greg in Hong Kong, you're on Blue Jays Talk. What time is it in Hong Kong?
Right now, it's like almost 1 o'clock. We're 12 hours ahead.
Wow, okay. Well, thank you for your call.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to thank you guys for putting on such a great show. I mean, in Hong Kong, I don't get to watch the games because it's in the morning time and I'm at work. And you guys, Kevin Show, just put on a great show. And last year was a tough year, and I didn't even want to watch the games, but I listened to all you guys every day, just to really get me through the season. And I love your analysis and what you've been going through. But I just wanted to give flowers to Shapiro and Atkins and Schneider, just for I was on the list, top of the list of the petition of getting these guys out of here last year, because I didn't think it was going to happen. But some of these trades that we made from IKF to Bieber and not trading your Savage for a closer, I think that's like a really amazing. And what about the Varsho trade now? I think that really paid dividends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, listen, they really have done they've stuck to their plan. I mean, I'll give them that. And actually, I'm going to they stuck to their plan to a degree. When they lost to the Mariners in, was it 2022, they decided they needed to emphasize defense. They needed to emphasize run prevention. So they went out and they traded Teoscar, they traded Lourdes Gurriel. And to Ross's credit in particular, he did say at the end of the year, we overcorrected. The course correction, maybe we overcorrected, and we learned from that. And that is one thing I do think about this front office. I think they learn from their mistakes. It may not be fast enough for fans, but I think they learn from their mistakes. And, the other thing is you have to keep in mind that at the base of all this, you have an ownership group that's committed to spending money. Edward Rogers, when he signed Vladdy, sat next to him to the extension, sat next to him in that platform and said, I want to win a World Series.
Yeah.
And he's serious about it. And he's putting his money where his mouth is when it comes to that.
Don't forget, too, they changed their hitting coach.
They changed their hitting coach.
That's a huge deal.
That was a big deal.
Organizational changing. The people that I've talked to said David Popkins brings it
like
they've never had it here before, talking guys into certain things that, will get the best out of every individual. And it shows.
Yeah, and Kevin Gossman told us that, they had a moment in the offseason where they had like a WhatsApp group, and basically the front office said, look, what can we do better? Help us out here. What can we do better in terms of communication and things of that nature? So they really, they course corrected. And while they were doing it, they, refurbished this ballpark. And yeah, I keep reminding people this because I'm old enough to remember going back to the days when the Jays were owned by Interbrew, and we used to really have discussions about, okay, this ballpark's a dump. Who's going to build a new ballpark? How are we going to get it done? Who's going to own the team? Mm-hmm. I mean, there were times where people in the commissioner's office were saying, we lost the Montreal Expos, but Toronto, I mean, attendance isn't great. They got the Canadian dollar, et cetera, et cetera. So when I think back to Paul Godfrey being the president of the team and at a season ticket holders function, answering without a word of a lie 4 questions about why the season ticket holders couldn't get freaking hot water in the bathroom in the 200 level. I mean, that's the state that the thing was at, and it's it's gone a long way since then. Let's get through a couple of calls here before we go. Ed in Alliston, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys, big fan of you guys. Been following the Jays since day one. Turning 70 next year, and I was there in 85. I was there in 93. I've been there at the bat flip game. I was lucky to make it down to one game this series. And I'm eating crow tonight because I was telling a lot of my friends we should have pulled Springer. He shouldn't be playing tonight. And I apologize to George Springer. Mm-hmm. And I'll be apologizing hopefully right through the World Series.
Yeah. Listen, George is, thanks for the call.
He's a gamer.
George is a gamer. George has made a lot of us eat crow this year. I really has. I was like Barker says, I wouldn't say I was ready to drive him to the airport because the traffic in Toronto sucks and I wouldn't drive him, but I was certainly ready to call him an Uber.
You were going to pay for it, too.
I would have called an Uber and I would have paid for it.
Yeah.
I would have put it in your credit card probably, but I mean, I would have paid for George to go to the airport. Now they're going to maybe they build a statue to George here.
Wow.
Maybe they build a statue.
Yeah, maybe.
To George.
I mean, he's earned it. Like the year he's had, he's the MVP of the team in my mind. 36. that hit he had tonight.
And he hit the home run that put the Blue Jays back in the World Series.
I think John sort of nipping everything in the bud when it comes to the leadoff spot and moving him down in the order to begin the season. You know, the mechanical change that him and David Popkins made, like all the things that went into sort of the 2025 George Springer, just seems to have turned out the way everybody wanted it to.
Let's go to David in Toronto. You're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey, guys. Absolutely love the show. Blair and Barker, classic. I just want to say one thing. Shout out to my boys, Yona and Banco. We were at the game tonight. You know what? We know what I got from this game. Springer, if you had taken him out after that second at-bat on that whiff, no one would have said a word. But he came back out, Kirk Gibson-esque, hit that home run basically on one leg. And I don't think we're talking about that enough. The man was on one leg. His last 7 at-bats looked horrible. He could barely walk. Let's give him his credit. This is our real MVP, just like Barker just said.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Appreciate the call. That's a great point. Kevin, you looked at me and said, that's the best swing he's had in 2 games.
Absolutely. I mean, it's how they were trying to get him out. It was the adjustment Seattle had made to all 3 of the big guys, and for him to go up in that at-bat and make the adjustment, look in there. I talk about phone booth all the time, right? Don't let leak towards, sort of takes away your power, and just that adjustment he made and standing a little taller and letting the ball travel that extra half an inch and, catching it before it actually sank. All the things that go into being George, he actually went up and applied it, and look at sort of what happened. I mean, that's sort of the things that you dream of as a baseball player in your backyard, flipping rocks in the air, thinking about hitting a homer in the 7th inning to win a game is one of the coolest things ever.
Alan in Toronto, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
This makes Cinderella seem like a sad story. Worst to first. They were 74 and 88 last year. Now they're 94 and 68, I guess it is, yeah. And so it reminds me of the 1991 Minnesota Twins. They were exactly the same. They were 74 and 88, and they had one more win. They had 21 more wins than Toronto. So this is a team of destiny. And if I were to tell you at the beginning of the year, Toronto Blue Jays are going to reach the World Series, you would have said you're putting me in a straitjacket and you're getting me committed. No possible way. What was your official prediction at the outset of the season?
I'm going to give myself credit because I said they were going to win the wild card spot, but I did that because I didn't have the balls to say that I thought they'd finish in 4th or 5th, which is what I really thought.
I got to be honest. I said meaningful games in September after coming off a 74-win season. If they do that, that's a plus. And then they did this.
Yeah. I admit it. I didn't have the balls to say they were going to finish 4th or 5th.
Well, I did. I just didn't want to.
Yeah. Last call. We're going to go to Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia. Kyle, what's up, man?
My guys, how you doing?
We're doing well.
I'm doing well, too. Hey, just wanted to give some love to Jeff Hoffman because I was there with a lot of guys in the last month or so and being like, is this the guy? And the last 2 nights, man, he came out and shoved. I called you guys last night, and I'm like, did we leave him out there too long? But he came out tonight, guys, and he got it done. And just want to say, man, I love this team, man. If you look up the definition of team in the dictionary, you're gonna find a picture of this team, the 2025 Blue Jays, right? So full team effort, like Barker likes to say, takes a village, man. It took a village tonight, and it's gonna take a village to shoot down the Dodgers, boys. So, but I think we can do it, man. It's gonna take all 26 guys, and we'll see what happens, man. We've been underestimated all year, so let's go Blue Jays.
No, listen, we appreciate the call, and hey, we're going to be doing this sucker for at least another week or however long the World Series goes. So those of you who called up tonight, thanks for calling up. You want to call back, you know the numbers. Feel free to give us a call. We'll probably be taking calls on Blair and Barker tomorrow, I would think, too.
Yeah.
So we'll throw out the number on social media then. And shout out to my guy, Brennan Hamilton. Traffic is terrible, and I don't care. P.S. Blair, the queue is down to 1 lane at here, Ontario, and it sucks. Jeez. And with that, Jay's going to the World Series.
Way to go, Jeff.
QEW's down to 1 lane. All is right with the world.
Yeah.
Some things never change.
Never.
Hey, listen, what doesn't change is we really appreciate your calls. We appreciate your feedback. for all of us here, for Show and Julia and Blake. We'll be doing all this through the World Series, before the game, after the game, during the game, days before, days after, right? Pretty much. We're pretty much at your beck and call. If they let us, yeah. And we'll be doing it as long as the Jays stay in the World Series. So listen, thank you for listening to Blue Jays Postseason Baseball. Canada's team is back in the playoffs, and your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers are proud to be a part of it for over 40 years. Crown has protected vehicles from rust, keeping them strong and ready for the road, just like a great playoff baseball team. Crown Rust Control, proud sponsor of your Toronto Blue Jays radio broadcasts.
Hoffman's payoff pitch. He got it! The Blue Jays win the pennant! The Blue Jays win the pennant! They're going to the World